great to be joined by Sean Marks now. Good to have you with us. And as we head into this season, from what we've heard from you and Jock, there's a lot of positivity about guys finally, amidst all the storm clouds, just being on the same page.
Yeah, it's a great time of year, actually. Everybody enjoys, sort of getting media day over and done with, because now you get down to real business and get back on the court. So, our guys have put in a good month's worth of work out here in their pickup games and so forth, and now it's training camp time, so it's exciting. Yeah.
All right, so reports were out there that Damian Lillard, if the Miami trade was going to happen, he mentioned two teams that he'd prefer to go to, Milwaukee and the Brooklyn Nets. He wanted, got the great view here. That's what he wanted. Were there any talks of any substance between yourself and the Portland Trailblazers about Damian Lillard?
Yeah, I usually never comment on things like that would happen, but on this one, no. There's no substance there. I mean, we've talked openly, JV, myself, and our owner Josiah, about like how we're going to build this thing, and not necessarily just taking our time, but we're always going to look under every stone and every rock and see what else is there. We're excited about seeing this group going out there together, this young group, which, to be quite frank, all have chips on their shoulders, something to prove for all different reasons and all different levels.
It can't be the worst thing in the world, though, for just how people view the organization, that a player of his caliber and as a great guy, great player, mentioned the Brooklyn Nets as one of the teams, right?
Amazing. I mean, he's an amazing player, amazing talent, and an amazing individual. I mean, we've followed him for years, and to have somebody like that in your organization, yeah, everybody's going to say, yeah, why not? Like, how can we do it? But you've also got to look at what fits long-term for you guys. What's your approach now, and does that make you a contender? Does it automatically make you a contender? What do you have to do as well as that? Because, I think just one move may not get it done. You've got to do several and to put yourself in a place to really be considered contenders. But for us right now, we're excited about getting this group out there on the floor.
And it seems on the surface, a deal like that, would you want Damian Lillard? Everybody would say yes, but then when you dig a little deeper and you say, yeah, but then we'd have to lose this player, this player, this player. Suddenly we're kind of gutting our roster, or guys that we know are the good character guys and hard workers that we want to keep on the team.
Everything factors into it. Just your time horizon, who you're having to give up, what draft assets you would have to be trading for, and so forth. So you're weighing all those factors and whether this is the right time or not to do things like that.
And when you made the trade last year, you're bringing Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. Cam Johnson, you lock him up for 4 years. Mikal Bridges is going to be a big part of this organization. I would think you have to be probably over the moon considering the deal that you made and how quickly everything went down and the return that you got on the deal.
Yeah, look, very happy. As I said at the time, it's always difficult when you trade a player of Kevin's talent and ability, and nobody looks forward to having to move off of a player like Kevin. But I think both sides win here. I mean, Kevin gets to go there and hopefully compete for a championship and contend there, and at the same time, more importantly for us, we're absolutely ecstatic about the return that we got, and to be able to have those young players on our roster right now with the draft assets and how we use them and how we build, whether it's through the draft or free agency or trades. It's given us a pathway, and it's given us a lot of opportunities and so forth. So we'll just see which avenue we go down.
And after the trade was made, you knew what they were from afar, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, able to push you into the first round of the playoffs. Did they perform probably better, maybe a little, than you expected?
It's interesting because I never want to limit any of our players too. You're right. You see them from afar and you think, oh, Lee, it's a heck of a player. Is he really that good? The intel, you speak to people and say, oh, he's a tremendous teammate. And then you get guys like Cam and Mikal and Spencer and Dorian and the rest of the guys we all got in those couple trades. And you go, they're actually better. They're better than we thought, which is great, and it's reassuring because they're competitive. Fire is something that's probably not quite spoken about quite enough. I mean, everyone says, oh, they're great guys. Well, great guys can compete too. Yeah. It'll be exciting to see how they can take another step. All of them.
Yeah. When you brought Ben Simmons in here, you had more established players around him. Now, looking at his resume from an individual standpoint, he's the most accomplished player that you have. How key is it for him to stay healthy and be productive on the court with this group of players?
Very key. I mean, he's a big part of this moving forward. It's not only a key for the Nets, it's key for Ben. Ben's put a lot of work in this offseason, got himself physically ready to play, which is going to be exciting. We've seen him out here, so I think we're excited to see this group together and playing real NBA games, not banging up with each other. So I got to give him credit. And now we'll see when the balls go out there and the lights come on.
When he couldn't play, there were a variety of views about what was going on with the back. Did he need surgery? Did he not want to play? That sort of thing. The way he talks about it and ultimately needing surgery, it's almost like you have a problem with your car, but you can't figure out what's wrong with it. And then suddenly he says, it's this, I need surgery, now I'm fully back. Was that the way it kind of felt, that nobody could kind of figure things out, and then once it was figured out, you knew the player could be that much better?
Yeah, there was certainly a little bit of that. I think a lot of it was also, he was trying to push through and realize, hey, look, I'm not the same player I am. I can't get to that speed, get to that explosiveness, with this injury. I was missing games, missing practices and so forth. So now to have him completely cleared and ready to go, hopefully that will, a huge weight lifted off him, and he can get back to playing basketball, something he loves to do.
When you drafted a guy like Nick Claxton and you're hoping that he become a player that can contribute, did you think it would happen this quickly for him? Because every year he just seems to get better. Last year we were talking about him most improved, defensive player of the year. There was a stretch early in the season people were mentioning him as a potential all-star as well. Yeah,
well, firstly I got to give our scouts a lot of credit. BJ Johnson, who runs our draft, has done a terrific job and was extremely high on Nick. We laugh about it all the time. So he obviously saw something very, very high in Nick, and where he could get to and so forth. And has Nick exceeded our expectations? I don't think so. I think we believed in him from day one. We knew he's such a versatile player, both ends of the court. I don't think he's even really shown what he can do offensively. And again, another guy who's put a lot of work in this season. I do think it clicked for him at a point last season where he thought, look, I could be up for some of these postseason awards. Maybe I am a little better than even I thought I was. So it's going to be exciting to see where Nick takes his game to.
And does that come also with matching up against some high-quality big men and knowing, finally having that light go on that I belong, I can do this, I can match up with anybody?
No question, absolutely. And when you're in the East, he's going to have to, go up against a lot of different bigs out here, which is great for Nick, and he's never shied away.
When you look at the roster and you brought in a guy like Lonnie Walker, there's a guy that last year makes it to the conference finals with the Lakers. That opens his eyes to just how different the NBA can be. And he had a big series. He had the 15 points in the fourth quarter, a game 4. What do you see his role on this team as?
Yeah, a little bit like that. I mean, he's one of these kind of hired guns. I mean, he's out there. He can take his game to a different level. It's exciting not only to have Lonnie and the guys like Dennis Smith and some of the other guys that we've picked up. They all have a chip on their shoulder. For some reason or other, they've been looked over, passed, whatever it may be. So to come in here, get a fresh start, get us to have a clean look at them, have a training camp under Jacques within this group. They're all going to get an opportunity. But as JV has said from day one, competing is going to be the name of the game here. So when they go out and they compete, you're going to earn your minutes.
We sort of got that vibe from Dennis Smith Jr. Got the deal with you in the offseason. Had never had that guaranteed deal. Always kind of out there scrapping and fighting and trying to get attention that I can do this. And so the reward comes with Brooklyn putting faith in him and you putting faith in him to say, hey, we think you can help us.
Yeah, Dennis has been really definitely one of the bright spots here. You always hear about, how a player is, and then when you get him in your building, you go, wow, he really is that. I mean, the ferocious competitor. He's the loudest guy in the gym all the time, holding everybody accountable. I love that about him. It's okay to be a little uncomfortable, and he's going to push the group. And defensively, I mean, you can see what he did last year, picking up full court, turning guys, being a disruptor out there. That's exactly what we need.
When you have Joe Harris, Seth Curry, Patty Mills, terrific shooters and scorers. How important this year for a guy like Cam Thomas, who, let's face it, there were moments last year. I mean, it was ridiculous what he was doing from a scoring standpoint. But with those 3 veterans gone, that shooting gone, what about the role for Cam Thomas this year?
Absolutely. I mean, same thing. He's going to get an opportunity to go out there and show what he can do. I mean, he showed glimpses last year. Now, can he do it consistently? Can he play on both ends of the court? What we've seen so far, another guy who's put in some work this offseason, which is great to see. So, we'll see how it goes through training camp and so forth. But when you lose 3 vets, like you said, and those guys were some of the best shooters, in the world, it's going to be tough, but a great opportunity for these other guys to step up and raise their game.
Final question for you, kind of get your mindset about where you're at now. As we were talking here, I was thinking that when you had Durant and you had Harden and Kyrie, the window was now. And it feels like what you're saying is with the quality talent you have, the window could be now, but the window is certainly for years to come. Is that sort of the way you feel?
Yeah, you never know when your window window is going to be like, hey, we need to really go jump. We need to get right back into it. You know, we'll wait for those opportunities. But again, I don't want to discredit the guys that we have. Like, it'll be fun to see who can take a next step with this group. You know, who's going to be a net for long term, who's going to be worthy of that, who's going to be up there, who rises to the occasion, and so forth. So, you know, it's fun to have these draft assets. You know, we love the draft, and we love looking forward to that in the future, and how we go about using them, and keeping that versatility for this franchise moving forward is going to be really important.
I said one more. I just have one more. So it's got to be great when you talk to Jacques Vaughn and he tells you maybe post-practice or something like, this guy really had it today. This guy was great. Keep an eye on this guy. Like all the positives that come out of guys working hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important that there's a partnership, you know, between JV and myself as to, like, you know, we debate and discuss everything, the rosters, who's playing, who's not playing, how they're playing, how we get the most out of this particular player, or that, who do you like over here, who do you like in the draft. You know, I think that's important, because player development starts not when you get the guy in your building, but even prior to that. Like, you know, like way back, what conversations did you have about this particular draft guy? So when they do come in, people are really excited about their development and the work that's ahead of them.
Well, you're always putting in the work, and it's Nets Media Day, so you have more work to do, so we're going to let you go. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
Always appreciate the time.